What is up, Kyuzou here. So this is my follow-up video to the SRS leveling video I posted earlier. I had some internet issues and work stuff, so I do apologize for the delay. We're currently level 90. I swapped to Phantasm at level 70. Could have done it at 60, but I already had 2020 support gems. Now, as you may know, I've already made 2 videos about Phantasm on Kill in the past, about a year ago I guess, and I was curious if the build was still any good. So I guess I'm giving you guys an update. However, for the new guys, we'll do everything from the beginning, and before we get into details, let me show you how the build works and looks. Oh, if I can hate when they do this. Why do you spawn right in my face when I enter the map? You're ruining everything, dude. Stop! Alright, so the build is very, very complicated. We do Desecrate, an Offering, Quicksilver, Phase Run, and go. That was really hard, right? So we have a few options when it comes to offerings. My main one is Flesh Offering for clear speed and movement speed. We also have Spirit Offering, which helps with single target. And we also have Bone Offering when we need to go a bit more defensive. So currently we have like a base 28% chance to block. With Bone Offering we're up to 54 attack and 39 spell. With Bone Offering and a Roomies we go to 73 and 49. So like I said, we do Desecrate, Offering, Phase Run, Quicksilver, go. Then we do like an occasional convocation. Like all you do is run around. Did I miss? I think I missed, there we go. All the way down there. Loop back should be here. And then we'll swap to a Spirit Offering for single target. Use Ball Lightning for EE. And as you can see, the damage is absolute garbage. Stop running. Dude, I said stop running. There we go. I suppose we could do a Metamorph just to show you how extremely shit this thing. Oh, nope, we're not. Alright, so let's start with the tree. Ideally, I'd like to jump in and out between the tree and the gear, but it's probably going to be a little confusing, annoying. You probably won't get like the full clear picture that way. So we'll start with the Ascendancy. And the first one I grabbed was Commander of Darkness, because the free at 20% all resistances is insanely nice while leveling. If you don't need the resist, you could start with something else if you wish. Our next 2 contenders is Mistress of Sacrifice, which means your offerings also affects you, which means Flesh Offering is going to give you a boosted movement speed. If you're leveling with SRS, you're getting a nice boost to your minion duration, and the one thing you do want on SRS is skill duration. If you're also leveling with the Phase Run, this is also going to increase the duration of Phase Run, so it's a really nice one to level up fast. Your second choice could be Mindless Aggression, just for straight up damage. And then we have Essence Glutton, which was my first choice for my Uber lab. It gives me mana, which is nice if you have Arcane Will. We get some really good regen for our energy shield. We also get mana regen, which honestly we don't need because our mana cost is just so insanely low. So my base region was about 303 or something, and then with corpses up, like with Desecrate, I'm up to 470 energy shield regen, and then with an offering, I'm up to like 1200 energy shield regen. However, with Metamorphs and high tier red maps, I decided to go for Bone Barrier. So the bone armor soaks about 2200 damage, and with a steel skin at level 16, that's another 1300, so that's like a free 3500 damage mitigation. And as for the energy shield regen, I'm only getting about half from what I would get from Essence Glutton. However, we're just getting so much more defenses from Bone Barrier. Plaguebringer, it doesn't really give us anything. Phantasm doesn't really have AoE, and we only get like 10% more. We do get the 10% reduced damage from enemies. So, I don't know, I feel Bone Barrier is probably better defensively, and offensively I don't really think it's going to add that much. Unnatural Strength does not work with Phantasm. While Phantasm is a minion gem, it is not a minion skill gem. It is a minion support gem. Now let's close this and zoom out a little bit. So over here, we got Melding, we got Written in Blood, we obviously have Chaos Inoculation. I do not have Essence Surge. Probably regret that, but the thing is, if you get hit a tiny bit, it doesn't really matter. So you're either going to get one shot or you're not. So, I don't know. I decided not to go for it. I just don't know if I regret it yet or not. And then I also have 2 energy from withins. One here that adds about 300 or so. And then I have 1 energy from within here to grab Cruel Preparation and Hardened Soul, which gives about, I think, like 800-ish. And, well, at this point in the league, they were fairly cheap, and I think they're fairly affordable overall. We got some more energy shield over here. We also have Death Attunement, because I really, really like to play with Spectres. They do add a lot to the clear speed, but they also add a lot to the passive tree. If I wasn't using Spectres, I would get rid of these 4 here. These 3 here and these 3 here. So that's like a lot of point you can save up and go for more damage and more energy shield early. However, I just feel Spectres are just really worth it, especially since Phantasm has they have very little life. It doesn't really matter if you buff them up with the tree or not. They're still like against let's say a Beyond boss or a Metamorph, they're still gonna get chunked, so it's really nice to have that small wall of Spectres protecting you. Having said that, tier 15, tier 16s, my Spectres do occasionally die, especially against the tier 16 Metamorph. We also have Insightfulness with Energy Shield and Mana, which is, well, I mean, it's right there in my passing, and we also have Arcane Will, which gives us 4% max mana as extra energy shield. Doesn't really add that much, but it's something. We got Elemental Equilibrium with Ball Lightning, because with added fire, Phantasm are dealing a lot of extra fire damage, and with Grip of the Council, they're also dealing a lot of cold damage. We also have Potency and Will. With Potency and Will and the Ascendancy skill effect duration, my Phantasms last for like 40 something seconds. And obviously we have Cellos because we're CI. And we have the typical cookie cutter note over here, Righteous Army and Redemption, more energy shield. And then I went for Whirling Barrier, because I was having a lot of survival issues. So this boosts my base block by like 10%. And like you saw earlier with Bone Offering and Rumis, I'm going up to 73% chance to block attacks and 49% chance to block spell. And my biggest problem so far has been porcupines. I just cannot survive porcupines. So with this, I'm surviving far better. And then we have Anointed Grey Pact. which gives our minions 5% chance to deal double damage. I'm repeating myself here, but I just gotta say, like, I've struggled a lot with the defenses, mainly only against porcupines and metamorphs. Porcupine maps have been more or less literally impossible, therefore I decided to try out Whirling Barrier along with Bone Offering for such maps. I have, however, barely played with Bone Barrier currently, just a tiny bit, but it is proven to be really, really nice. And I think arguably you could run without Whirling Barrier. As for rare jewels, you want Gaslit with Energy Shield, Flatfizz, and Hinder. And as a side note, a Clarity Watcher's Eye is it gives me roughly 800 Energy Shield, and for its price, I don't think that's worth it. Alright, let's move on to the gear. Now, the first thing I do want to mention is my disappointment with my Energy Shield pool. I'm at 8.4k right now. The current tree has 203%, and with a few more levels I could reach 237%. And with better gloves, I'm looking at maybe 9,000 energy shield, which is still more than you'll have life-based. However, being CI over life-based, we now have to run discipline, which means we are forced to drop haste aura, and haste adds a lot to the clear speed, honestly. And even if I had the gem slot, I would need a head enchant, a level 4 enlighten, sovereignty, charisma, and probably I would need to anoint. Oh, I said charisma. I'm sorry. I would need to anoint charisma, but I would need this 4% here and sovereignty, and I would need all of that, and that's just not worth it. Alright, so what you need is a soul rest. What you don't need is it to be linked. You just need a 6-socketed, and you just need the right colors, and you're good to go. And our gems are, we have an extra Phantasm on kill here, because as it is, you only get, I think, 10. Yeah, you get 10 max, and then when you add one more Phantasm, you go up to 20. If you have a 21, you go up to 21. You do not need quality on your Phantasm, by the way, because quality only adds chance to spawn one, and we have a 100% chance to spawn with the Soul Rest. So yeah, Phantasm on kill, minion damage, GMP, control destruction, added fire, and faster projectiles. And for single target, you can swap in a slower projectile over the faster projectile. For hit piece, we want a Hubris with as much energy shield as possible. The current sockets in here is a portal, ball lightning, spell cascade, and desecrate. The spell cascade is for the desecrate, so I get more corpses. Without it, I only get a tiny blob like that. And now I get way more. Your amulet, you want dexterity and some strengths, energy shield, resist, yeah. Rings, if you're playing CI, you're gonna need 2 unsets. You're going to want dexterity, resist, energy shield, dexterity, energy shield, resist. I don't have energy shield on this one because it got a tiny bit expensive. I found a +2 to socketed gems where I have my discipline, and I couldn't resist. So I was looking for a +3 with the resist that I needed, along with energy shield, and that was like 25x. So no. If you can't find a +2 socketed gems, that's fine. Chest piece, you want a Regalia. I'd say this one's pretty average, I guess. We got Grip of the Council, which gives our minions 20% more damage with extra cold. You could go with better energy gloves if you want to. I just kind of wanted the damage, and apparently we needed it. Or rather, apparently it didn't matter against bosses. For belt, we want a crystal belt, or potentially a Stygian Vice. I did try to dense craft this, but I just could never hit the percent along with 2 resist or 1 resist on the suffix open, so this is what I ended up with. For boots, we got Sintrek, because they got 30% movement speed, they got really good energy shield, and it has the dexterity. For enchant, I would go with movement speed if you haven't been hit recently, although the regen is a second good option. I also apologize because I just now realized I stopped showing you the gems. So I got Convocation in here. We got a non-level cast from damage taken with steel skin here. I was actually not aware that I hadn't leveled this. And we got Flame Dash with Flesh Offering. We got Face Run with increased duration. And we got Hatred with Generosity. As for life-based options, you do want to go with a Bone Helmet for your headpiece. As for chest pieces, you could a life-based regalia, obviously. Otherwise, it's gonna be tricky to chrome your chest piece. You could go with a belly, but that's going to be expensive chroming it. If you don't want to run with specters at all, you could slap in a combs. You could run a victorious influence, which should allow you to easily add in an extra aura or two. Flask I'm using is Roomies. Don't mind the non-quality. I'm using a quartz, even though I'm running with Face Run. I do prefer a quartz for when it's not up. We've got a Quicksilver, 30%. We got a Basalt, Taupe Basalt with granite stacks. And then we have a Silver for Onslaught to go even faster. And some final words. So this is among the fastest clear speed builds out there, and it's not even expensive to get started. So sometimes early in the leagues, the staff may go for an Exalt or two, but usually it drops pretty quickly. Problems I've encountered with the build so far is double beyond maps are insanely hard. Single target is extremely weak in red maps. Yellow maps, like up to tier 10, we're doing fine. 11, so it's kind of fine too, but once we reach 15, 16, it takes a really long time sometimes. Porcupine maps have been insanely annoying and difficult. Especially when you don't have any control over when your minions are going to attack or not, so they have PK'd me numerous amounts of times. Therefore, I decided to swap to Bone Barrier and the Whirling Barrier, etc. And the block has helped a lot, actually. Metamorphs in high red tier kills my Spectres just about every single time. Chain maps seems to kill my Spectres a lot. Indoor maps with sort of like labyrinths, tight walls type of things are really annoying because we are 100% relying on Convocation to kill mobs that way. I truly love this build. It's really fast, it's really fun, but bosses takes forever. So this is definitely not an endgame build, but it's definitely something you can just run maps all day to just level up. Can't really do much besides that though. So with this character, I have seen everything I need to see. I might actually I'm not gonna play for a day or two more, but I'm not completely done with this specific character just yet. Actually, I do have other plans. I do want to test out SRS again because I haven't played that since Legacy League, which was years ago. However, my idea of doing the build is going to be insanely expensive because I need a very specific craft, and I mean a very, very specific craft. So if I don't run out of currency and actually hit it, we'll play it. If I don't get the craft, then maybe next league. If we do get to play SRS, however, the thing after I do want to try is Detonate Dead, actually, because ever since I seen this corpse pact over here, enemies near corpses you spawned are chilled and shocked. Corpses you spawn have 50% increased max life. Detonate Dead sounds so fun, and I genuinely haven't played Detonate Dead since Invasion League, and I don't think anyone really has played it since Invasion League. I do have a tree planned out for the Detonate Dead build. I have half of the gear figured out. I haven't even thought about the gems. We'll get there when we get there, if we get there. That is it for me. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you Blizzard soon.